What's going on, my friends? This is Dustin Stelzer with Electrician U, and today we're going to talk about EMT. Electrician U. So what is EMT? It's electrical metallic tubing. It's a thin-walled steel tubing. There's a stainless version of it, there's an aluminum version of it, but essentially EMT is just a raceway. It's something for you to pass wires through. It can be used in exposed or concealed environments. That means like you can run it down a wall exposed, or it can be concealed behind walls. It can also be put in concrete or direct buried into the earth, but you have to have specific kinds that can handle that, either a stainless or galvanized. Anywhere that you use MT, it can't be somewhere that is subject to physical damage or something that's really corrosive. It's going to damage it, so you can't use it in any environment where it's going to get damaged. You also can't use EMT to support luminaires or other fixtures. There's got to be something supporting the conduit. The conduit cannot be the support for a box or a piece of equipment. When you bend EMT, there's a certain amount of bends that you can put in conduit. From one box or termination to another box or termination, you can't have more than 360 degrees in bends. Pretty much means 490s. You can't have more than 490s. That's code. When you have a piece of conduit that is a whole stick of conduit, you don't have to ream the ends of that conduit. But once you make a cut, you start burring the new edge of that conduit. So you need to ream it out in some way. It smooths them out and makes it so you're not gonna run wire across a really rough and sharp surface. Let's talk about securing and supporting a little bit. Every 10 feet, you need to have a strap, or within 10 feet. But if you're coming from a box or a panel, within 3 feet of that box, panel, termination, any kind of thing that you're terminating the end of that conduit run, within 3 feet of that, you have to strap and securely support that conduit. But then after that, every 10 feet, no more than 10 feet, you can do every 3 feet, doesn't matter, but you just can't exceed 10 feet, or else what you'll start noticing is that conduit's gonna start bending or bowing. Now, there are two exceptions to this in code. Say that you have conduit that you're fishing down behind something that you can't access. Obviously, you can't access it, you don't have to strap it. The second thing is if your building or structure that you're attaching your conduit to does not allow for you to strap within 3 feet of a termination, you can go to 5 feet. The big rule with couplings and connectors when you're connecting two pieces of conduit together, or when you're terminating one piece of conduit into a box, is that they have to be made up tightly. You have to make sure that every single screw, if you're doing like a set screw style coupling, is tight. All of them have to be tight. Or if you're using weatherproof couplings, you have to make sure that you take channel locks and tighten both sides of that thing so it doesn't move and so it's not loose. And a big reason for that, EMT can be used as an equipment grounding conductor. You can use the conduit itself as an equipment ground. But in order to do that, that path all the way from the equipment all the way back to the panel has to be solid in one piece. So the only way that you can get away with doing that is making sure every single coupling and connector is tight. Otherwise, you're not going to have continuity between that piece of equipment and the conduit all the way back to the panel. So that's the purpose behind that. So that's the gist of it. That is EMT in a nutshell. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your attention, and I will see you on the next one.